Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. In this episode, we are going to look at my S tier board games. These are my S tier solo board games, the superior tier. This is the top of the line. These are the games in my collection, I think, that are just a cut above the rest. Now, remember, the A tier was all about I would be able to want to play it again. It was so good. I'd play it again. Well, these are games, I'm not talking about play it right after, like one, play it again right after another without playing another game. These games are games that I could play one after another, and I see me playing for the rest of my life because they're that good. And they're also just a super exciting experience. When I play these games, I feel the board game solo joy at a max level. So this is, to me, the best the hobby has to offer. And these are in no particular order at all, but I'm going to give them to you starting with the biggest one in my collection, I should say. And that is not a surprise to anybody who's been watching, and that is Voidfall. Voidfall, of course, is a gigantic, very, very involved European-style 4X game. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside here. And it is a classic and a joy to play. It is not as complicated as you'd think, but it is heavy. There's so much in that box. Not only are there multiple missions, which I think there's at least 10 that you can play solo, but also you have all sorts of different races or factions you can play, which tremendously change the way the experience goes. And the technologies are different. And the way you play each scenario can be different. And you have 3 different difficulty levels that you can use. So much in that box. If you have not played it and you like heavy Euro games, I can't recommend Voidfall enough. Just a magnificent game. All right, let's stick on the sci-fi theme. The next one I'll throw in here is Twilight Inscription. Twilight Inscription is just a plain and simple fun roll and write game. And when you look at the back, look at all of that goodness. I've said it every time I bring up Twilight Inscription, I always show the back of the box because you can see just how much coolness is going on here. And I'm telling you, that game is super fun. I love playing it. I've had it for years. I just enjoy every time I play because the mission, what you're trying to do and how you want to do it can be vastly different from game to game. There are 4 different areas in that game that you can spend your time in, so to speak. Invest your points, invest your resources. And each of those areas, there are 9 different variety. And you can mix and match them however you want. There are different objectives that you'll be going for. You'll be racing against the bot. The bot itself is very low maintenance. It is kind of a beat your own score bot per se. But with a goal, you have to get a such and such amount of gold to be able to win on certain levels. But it's really fun. If you like roll and write games and you like things that are a little bit more meat and potatoes, that's a great one to play. Really, really, really fun. All right. Next, we're going to go to a throwback, an oldie but a goodie. And this is A Feast for Odin. And I would also say to get the full experience out of this thing, you're going to want the expansion, the Norwegian expansion. I brought this up a lot. The back of the box makes this look so it's okay, right? You see a little bit, but this game, as many of you might know, is just teeming with content. There's so much that you can do, so many strategies you can try. The entire game is a sandbox. I love that game. It used to be my favorite game of all time for many, many, many years, and it was finally replaced by a couple of them, and the couple being a few on this list. And I'll just leave that to you guys to think about what they could be. Anyway, really, really good game, and made even better with the expansion. Just almost unlimited replayability in there. I've played that game dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and every time I bust it out, I love it. The other thing I really like about that game in particular is that it's very easy to pick up and play after not playing it for a long time because the actions are self-explanatory. What you're doing, it's all easy to remember, and I love that. The other one that's similar to that is Fields of Arle, especially with the Tea and Traders expansion. The back sort of shows a little bit of what you're getting in, but not that much. It just kind of shows you a board zoomed out a bit. This game is also one that really, really offers a very rich solo experience with regards to a sandbox feel and trying all sorts of different things. Now, that one is a little more limited in scope than A Feast for Odin, but what you can do is deeper. So Feast for Odin is more broad, lots of different actions. This one's more deep because you can, and I'm not saying deep as in strategy, but that you can optimize your actions much further, make it stronger. Very, very, very fun game. The Tea and Traders expansion really brings it to the next level because it adds even more content, even more ways to make good moves, even more things to think about. Really like that game and A Feast for Odin. Both of them are beat your own score, but I don't care. I love Beat Your Own Score by Uwe Rosenberg. To me, that is how I cut my teeth in the solo hobby because it's just playing against myself, trying to figure out how to get that 100, the 110, or whatever the situation is. And they were always challenging enough for me. And once I got it, I would say, well, let me try to do it with a completely different strategy. Really, really fun, those two games. All right, switching gears big time now. This one was a game that I was really looking forward to for a long time and really enjoyed it. It absolutely lived up to the hype for me, and that was Nucleum. Nucleum, you can see it in the back here. Very much it has a brass feel. It has a barrage feel a little bit because you're generating power. But this is by far its own game. This game is a little bit harder to play solo because the automa takes a little doing. It's not as easy as the other ones that I've put out. Obviously, Voidfall is different. Voidfall is probably a similar vein. But the automa, it plays very smartly, very difficult to beat it. It's possible to win, but it takes some serious doing. But that is a game that combines all sorts of great things in the Euro genre and really brings them to the next level. You're doing network building. You're building industrial factories, or I should say infrastructure, really. You're trying to power those for points. You're getting bonuses. There's asymmetric player powers in there. There's area control. The game is just a gem. It really, really is. And the interesting thing about that game is that I can't say that I recommend the other expansions wholeheartedly. The one with the scholars, I think it's called Scholars expansion. That's the one where you get a couple more scholars and you get these politicians. I think that's what it was. I'm sorry, I just can't remember sitting here. That one really changes the game a lot. And it doesn't add any, it really kind of like gives you another thing you can focus in, but it does not add any more additional resources to do so. And I have mixed feelings on that. So that one in particular, I'd say it may or may not be your cup of tea. And my solo review talks about that. The Australia one definitely adds more variety with a different map. And that's an easier one to recommend solo. I'm looking forward to the new expansion that should be coming out soon that was released at Essen this year. But Nucleum is really a gem of a game to play solo. All right, taking a completely different approach now. We're going with Darwin's Journey. Darwin's Journey, in the back again, doesn't really sell it so much. You just see a busy board here. But Darwin's Journey, the fun in this game comes from the sheer amount of enjoyable little bonuses I find that are all over this game. Whatever you're doing, you get it's almost like it puts more gas in your tank to be able to do what you need to do next. And you, especially with the first expansion that adds the more complicated exploration of the different islands, this game just really, really excels at what makes a game fun for me. It's tight, it's difficult to win. The bot is competitive in all of its different levels. You've got multiple levels to play against the automa. It's not that convoluted as far as how to play against it. It does a pretty good job. But I just love the rewards of doing well in that game, of powering up your player powers, being able to play certain cards, being able to go to those areas and get the good bonuses, those little things that help you out, because it's such a constrained game. It's so tight. Getting to that discovery spot so that you can catalog and fill up your board, it's just super, super fun. And also very, very dynamic, because every game you play, you're going to have a whole different situation going on, different actions, different setup, and you could try a different strategy completely and be totally engrossed in it and enjoy it so much. So Darwin's Journey is really one that I really liked, and I had no idea I was going to like it that much. I remember backing it because I thought, this is kind of cool looking, but never did I know, and I'm so glad I did, that it was going to be one of my favorite games of all time, and I can't wait to get my hands on the new Oceania expansion when it comes out soon. All right. Now, this is a game that I have spoke very highly of. This is the ultimate Euro sandbox, in my opinion, and that is Civolution. Civolution, in the back of the box, does sell this one. Civolution really offers you a ton of things that you can do. Just look at all of those individual spots there. Those are all different actions for the most part that you can take. Not all of them. I guess I've said this in my solo review too. Over here, it's all of them. These are different things and different bonuses, but you play cards in that game. You do area control. You discover things. You refine things. You sell things. You upgrade things. You do everything that a Euro can do, and it's just so satisfying. And it's not easy to win solo at all. Not easy at all. It's not bad to play solo. The solo does a decent job. The only thing that's a little bit takes some time, because there are some area control differences, is you have to kind of work out where the solo is going to go, where he's going to put his guy, etc. And that takes a little bit of effort, and it drags it just a smidge down. But you got to do that. There's just no other way. I do love that game so much, and I can't recommend it enough. It was my game of the year a couple of years ago. Still one of my top favorite games, if not my favorite game. And one of the games that I will never want to sell, and can't wait to get the expansion also, which should be coming out pretty soon. Okay, going to a different direction here with factories. This is Algae Inc. Now, at the time of me making this video, I just heard that there was a couple more copies available from the Game Brewer website. I'm sure they're gone by now if you're not watching this at least in the end of November. I bet they're gone. But this game doesn't look like much, but let me tell you, it is so fun. If you like a factory experience, if you want to make it feel like you are building products with 4 different completely asymmetric factories, this is the game for you. It's got conveyor belts and simulation, or in mixtures of things to do different stuff and to build different products, sell those products. Oh my goodness, is this one fun. It takes what I love about a Euro game, especially one with an industrial theme, and hits it right on the mark. I just love that game. I wish and I hope there's more content that'll be coming out sometime in the near future. I don't know if there will be. I know the designers have to find a different publisher, but Algae Inc. was one of those games that I was able to get a copy just because, and I didn't back it. I luckily got one online, and it really, really, really exceeded my expectations, pardon me. Just so fun. Just so fun. If you like factory simulators, if you like something, and you know, this is one of those factory games that is not dry. The theme is fine. The mechanics of how you do things feels very gamey, but your actual factory is extremely satisfying to run, and it really presents you with some very tight and difficult decisions on what you want to do. It is not a game of abundance. It is a game of shortage. It is a game of extreme focus. And it's not overly too complex either. There is no real bot in that. It's a blocking bot. So you're playing to, I think, I'm trying to remember. I mean, it spends its whole game blocking you. No, and it does score. So you have to beat it. But it is a very easy automa to execute. It is not easy to win at all. It's very hard to win. But that is a really, really cool game. I absolutely love it. All right, here's another game that I kind of got on a whim, so to speak, because I didn't know what to expect. And I was really, really, really pleased with how much fun this game is. And this is SETI. The back of the box absolutely sells this one, in my opinion. You are doing all sorts of cool Euro-style actions with card play, board placement, different kinds of activations of things, different board actions that feel unique and fun. And this is why it's so much fun, because everything you do is giving you those little rewards that are so enjoyable for me in a game. You get pushed into the next area. You afford what you're going to do based on what you're getting. And I love that. And you never know exactly which aliens are going to come up in the game. You have, in the base game, there's 5. There's 3 you play with. So you're always don't really know what the strategy is going to be until they get revealed. There is a ton of different Automa levels in there. It is really a fun game. I know I'm going to say that about all these games, but this is S tier, for pity's sake. They're all good. They're all magnificent. So SETI is a game that I'm going to guess though, multiplayer might go really, really long, but solo is perfect. It is about a 90-minute experience. The bot is not too difficult to run. It's very difficult to win, but it's just plain and simple enjoyable, and I can't wait to try out the expansion, which hopefully will be coming to the US soon. Okay, here's another completely random one that I saw and picked up, or I pre-ordered. This goes back to about a year ago. And this game does the little reward thing that I've been talking about so much extremely well. And I don't really care if I feel like the theme, even though they tried to do the best for the theme, feels very Euro-ish. Doesn't matter to me. Just look at Men Nefer. All right, Men Nefer. Look at this. Look at all this stuff that's going on that board. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, it's so much. No. It's not. It is just enjoyable to play. There are a lot of things going on there, but it is not like convoluted. It's not filled with tons of filler and fluff. Each of those areas is something unique going on. It's like having 6 games in one. And it is just so much fun to play that game because you want to do all sorts of different things, but you really have to focus, like any Euro, in order to maximize certain things and really push through and get the scores you need to win. There's so much to delight in on that game, and it's really perfect. I don't think it needs an expansion. I don't think it needs anything. It is just super enjoyable to play. The bot is not too terrible to run by any means, and I just love it. Plain and simple, I love it, and I couldn't believe how much I liked it. It was just a game that I thought looked kind of cool, but the back of it sold me on, and I literally saw that, and I'm like, ooh, looks like a lot going on. Let's discover. And I did, and I just ate it up. It was so awesome. Okay, speaking of eating it up, here's a game that uses a theme completely pasted on. It has nothing to do with the real feel of the game, but it's an awesome game. That's Sweetlands. Sweetlands has nothing on the back of the box that shows you what the game's about, which is just a shame because this is a super, super enjoyable and semi-heavy Euro. But the mode, the way to win the solo is it's a beat your own score, basically. It does block a few actions that you have to take. But in order to win, you really have to think. You really have to optimize. You really have to achieve. Because to get I think the winning score is at 250. And I have never gotten close. That is a game where your score will go up similar to like an 18xx, where those last rounds, you do so much and just break through if you're playing it well. And there are so many different cards you can play. There's so many avenues to take. It's a very, very tight game with lots of resources that are in it. And it's just a joy. I love the game. I absolutely love it. It was so exciting. And I bought it just because it looked kind of cool. It looked heavy. It is way heavier than this is not a Candyland game, let me tell you what. But if you can get your hands on a copy, it will be worth your while, especially if you like a little bit of an old school Euro kind of feel, and I do. I love that. It's a worker placement game where your cards are giving you extra abilities to get more workers, but the cards also are really important in how you play and how you optimize, where your strategy comes from. There's just all sorts of good stuff there. Variable player powers, all sorts of stuff. Love Sweetland. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, switching gears again. This one is probably my favorite dice drafting game of all time. It's not the easiest one, but it's a great one, and it's Takanu. Takanu, especially with the expansion, is really a delight to play. The only thing I hate about it, and I'll use the H word, is this obelisk blocks what you can't see around this thing. I always say to myself, I'm going to remove this and use something else, and I never do. But that game is, in a similar fashion, multiple games in one. It does have a difficult to run bot, which is the only downside I have from it, but it is worth the effort. The reason the bot's difficult is because it's kind of an intelligent bot and how it does things, but it also takes actions ever so slightly different than when you take them. And that makes it really, you have to learn the game twice in 2 different ways to play it. And the expansion doesn't do anything to make that any easier, although I think it does make the game more enjoyable because it kind of rounds out all the different strategies you can play to make a lot of the different things viable. But that game is one where it's really complex. There's no doubt about it. You're drafting a die, the type of the die, the color of the die, the value of the die. It all makes sense I'm not sorry, not saying it all is very important. Where it is in the shadow and the light and the dark, etc., also plays a big part. It is a very heavy game. But if you like heavy Euro games and dice drafting and really cool emerging feels where this game is just going to like let you do some things that the cards are fun, the area control is fun, the resource management is fun, everything about the game is fun. I just love that game. But I don't play it enough as I should because it is so difficult to play. But I'll never want to stop playing it, never want to get rid of it. It's just a joy. Love it. Okay, now time for some comfort food. This is a game that I've had for many years, and also it gives you a big sandbox feel. And this is Caverna, the Cave Farmers. And I've got a bunch of expansions in here. The back, again, doesn't really sell it, but this is a game where you are managing both a cave and a farm in classic Uwe Rosenberg fashion, trying to score a specific amount of points. And you're not even playing against an automa. This is a beat your own score, but the solo rules specifically limit the amount of resources that can build up for you during the game. It is extremely fun, especially when you mix in some of the expansions. Now, I don't have the one where you have like the goblins and the dwarves or whatever that was. I got the Forgotten Folk. That's a good one. The other one where it really takes it in a different direction. I never got that one because it really seems to change the effect of the game. And I just decided I had plenty of content for it. But the amount of strategies in here and the fact that almost every building, unless you're playing the Forgotten Folk, then it switches it up. But everything is available to you. You can do whatever you want. You can try whatever you want. You can mix and match however you want. It's just a great game. And it's so much fun to see if something you're doing is going to pay out, or the combo is going to be there, or the synergies are going to be there or not. I really enjoy Caverna. And it's one of my all-time favorite games, and it has been for years and years. I love it. Okay, switching to another heavy game. This is way heavier, in my opinion, than Caverna. Will be Scholars of the South Tigris. I have talked many, many, many times about this game on the channel. I love this game, and I especially enjoy it with the expansion too. Although I would say that the base game in of itself is just fine. What the expansion does is it adds a little more strategy to how you're putting cards below here. For the most part, that's what it really does. It also gives you some other things too, but I'm not going to get into it. What is this game? This game is also, it's not a dice drafting game as much as it is a dice action selection style game. So you're using your dice as workers. And when you're doing that, you are playing them in such a way that they would qualify for a certain type of action with a certain type of strength and kind of put you down an alley in one of 4 different ways where you're translating, you're getting translators, you're moving scrolls in the board, and you're also researching and developing. The joy of that game is that it is extremely tense and tight, and it takes an awful lot of concentration to do well. You have to think multiple steps ahead. There's a lot to consider. But when you get it all right, and especially if you can claim a win against the automa, which is also not that bad to run, but some of the priorities are a little bit of a headache on how it does certain things. And that's just because of the rulebook, because for whatever reason, Garfield game rulebooks and I just don't seem to mesh as well as we ought to. Anyway, this is definitely a 10 out of 10. Amazing game for me. I will continue to play it over and over and really enjoy it. And I wish there was a way to even I'd love some of these games to be in app form, to be honest. I would love to play them more. Some of these games do take a little bit of time to set up and to play. This one's setup is okay, but it is super enjoyable. And the other one that I'll bring out in the same fashion is Inventors of the South Tigris. Both of these are S-tier games. This one has even more going on. And in a lot of ways, it is a little more forgiving, but also a little more difficult to play. This one, I think, is made best with the expansion that came out for it not too long ago, because the expansion offers you some major asymmetric player power differences and really breathes life into a game that is a lot of fun, but is also very tactical. I take that back. It's not very tactical, but it's like the differentiators in the game are now made very pronounced when you use that expansion, because each of your player powers now will put you down a different strategy, have you doing different things. And the expansion itself, I think, has 12 different ones. Very, very worth your while, though. Anyway, why is that game good? That game takes the same type of dice action selection, worker placement kind of style, and breathes a little more life into it. You've got more things going on. It's not nearly as constrained as Scholars. It might be more overwhelming, though, because you have so many things going on. And what you do have to do is you have to pay really close attention to where you focus your effort, because what you finally do, there's a whole process of making these inventions. And at the end, when you publish the invention, when you've invested time into it, it's going to pay off extra bonus points at the end if you meet the conditions of the scoring. And it is hard to keep all of those conditions in mind when you're making each and every action. But if you have the mental capacity to just stay focused and really wrap all that into one and play a game where you are just on it the whole time, you can come up with some amazing, amazing victories and some just really satisfying gameplay. So those two games are my favorite games that come out of the Garfield line. Those are great. They're definitely S tier. I highly recommend them, but they are both on the heavy spectrum. Most of the games that are here are heavy. There's no doubt about it. Here is a game that came out and took a concept that I really liked. This is the next one. And it refined it, made it even more fun, and then made the scoring good, or easier, I should say, whereas the scoring in the other game was really tough. This is Star Trek Captain's Chair. Now, the reason I love this game, and it looks kind of fun here for the back of the box. The card play in this game is extremely clever. The amount of content that is just in this base box and all the different multifunction card use is extremely rewarding. It is not an easy game by any means, and the bots playing it are also smart, and they're not the easiest to do either, but they have done a great job with quality of life improvements, so to speak. Not improvements, but facilitation to be able to make the bot playable and handle all of the different complexities. This, honestly, that is one of the most genius solo systems I've ever seen, because it does such a good job working in so many factors. It's a very good game. There's an awful lot of content in the box. I can't wait to pick up some of the expansions which will be coming out. And what they did, so the Imperial series are the other ones that I've looked at before on different tier lists. Why this one is more fun, I think, is because there's more going on with each card play. The strategy is a little bit more interesting, and at the end, the scoring is a lot easier. The challenge with the Imperium series was, I got to the end and was like, oh, I got to score this thing now. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Where this one is just a little bit easier to do. It flows. You don't have to keep so many things in your head. It tells you clearly, once you've done this, you don't have to worry about those cards anymore. You can set them aside. And just that little bit of a change pushed this from an A tier to an S tier for me. And I really, really, really enjoy that game. And I love how much content is there. And the card play and the way it works is extremely clever. Okay, just a couple more to go. Now, these are three very different games, and I will tell you that one of them is really, really new, one of them is semi-new, and one of them is extremely old. So let's go with the really new one for me first, and this is Shackleton's Base. Shackleton Base, and the back does sell it, in my opinion, because look at all the stuff that's going on. This is really a cool Euro game. You also in here have multiple different corporations you're going to choose from when you play. Only 3 of them will be in play. They dramatically change what's going on in the small little mini games over here. Super, super clever and fun. It's a little bit of a tough game to describe because it is so unique, in my opinion. The board interaction plays a lot to do with what your actions do, how strong they are. It is a worker placement game, but the things you can do are extremely varied, and how you score points is extremely varied based on the corporations that are in the game. It's a really unique offering, and I love unique, and I think that's why I like it so much, because when I play that game, it feels like nothing else I have in my collection. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's how I feel. And it is extremely enjoyable to play. It is not easy to win. There's a lot going on. It's a heavy game, but it's one of those games also where I feel like everything I do, I'm getting I'm enabling myself to be successful in future moves, which is a lot of fun for me. I really like that. And it also puts me through agonizing choices where I have to choose, do I want to focus on this or do I want to focus on that? They're both good. Oh, I want them both right now. But I've got to make the right choice in order to be competitive. The Automa is not too bad to play. I was blown away. I heard a lot of things about it. It took a long time to get a copy in the United States, and it is super, super fun. So I highly recommend checking that one out. Now let's go to the really old one. This is one of my first solo games that I got. And this still, I have such a strong place in my heart for this. This is the revised edition, but this is Agricola. Agricola itself is a masterpiece in worker placement. In worker placement. This was, to me, one of the first worker placement games that I really had. But what makes this game so special is that the resources build up on those spaces. So the longer you can delay doing something, the more the payout is. And that was the first time I ever played a game like that. And it blew my mind. Just blew my mind. That little difference was so cool because it provides so much tension in a solo game and in a multiplayer game. Plus, there's tons and tons of cards. I have all the released expansions for it because I love the variety. I've played this game hundreds of times, honestly. And I played a lot online with Board Game Arena, and I played a lot on the iOS app, and I played a lot in person. I play it. I'm going to be playing it until I can't think anymore, I think, because it is just such a good game. The way that you can play the campaign, where each game you leave something behind to build on it, you have to have a higher score. And I think it's a 7-game campaign, if I'm not, yeah, it's 7 games. Super fun to do that too, that series. Now, what I will say is the Farmers of the Moor expansion is okay, but it departs, it almost switches it, like, you go to a whole new type of game with different major and minor improvements, different, I think there is even different occupations. No, maybe the occupations are the same. But it does take a left turn. And so I can easily recommend everybody to say, if you've got Agricola, you could pick 1 or 2 of the different decks and be totally fine with plenty of content. But Farmers of the Moor, you've got to make sure when you do that, it's like you can't, if you mix and match both of them, they really dilute the experience. So it's kind of like I got to do this or that. Just a forewarning. That is one of those expansions that I say is not a given. Just like I said, the one in Caverna was a given, and the one, or unlike I said, those were givens for Uwe Rosenberg games. That one is a little bit different. However, super fun game. Tons of rewarding choices to be able to make in there. I love it multiplayer. I love it single player. Just love it, love it, love it. All right. And the final game I'm going to put on this list today is a game that blew me away when I got it because I had never expected such a beautiful looking game to be so much fun and so rewarding. And the only drawback about it is the setup length. It's got great difficulty. You can play an easy bot and you can actually win. You can play with a couple of mediums and it's a challenge, and the hard bot is extremely hard. Without further ado, I give you Sancore, Pride of Mansa Musa. This game, oh man, this game. Each of these areas here is its own little mini game. Your board and what you do is all based on those 4 different things. What the decisions you're making and how you're making them and how you're doing things in this game with the way that you're getting scrolls, you're training workers, they're getting better actions. You get these books which have a majority in play, which would be how you're scoring, makes the scoring at the very end extremely clever and very, very player dependent. You can outsmart the bot. The bot can get an upper hand on you and really change the value of those things on you if you're not careful. This is a game that should be part of everybody's Euro collection if you like medium-heavy Euro games. I can't play this game enough. I tell you, it is so fun. I've had it for a couple of years now, and I continue to come back to it and enjoy it. It looks beautiful. It plays beautifully. The bot is not hard to run at all, but it's got varying, challenging levels that you can do in it. And there's so much to enjoy when it comes to actions that enable you to get to the next turn. And that's what this game is. It's all interlocked. And I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know there's not going to be any expansions for it, but if there are games out there that continue to come out that are similar to this, I would gobble every one of them up. Just so much fun. So that does it. That is my S tier. I've shown you all the games in their boxes. I will play these games. I will keep these games for my whole gaming lifetime. I really, really enjoy every one of these. I can't say enough about it. Not all of them are reachable with regards to heaviness. Most of these games are pretty heavy. Most of these games are Euros, right? I love Euros. To me, that's my favorite type of game. Some people say, oh, they're all Euros. Yeah, that's what I like. But from a standpoint of solo-ness, all of these are brilliant solo efforts. Every single one. They provide something various in nature. And if I was stuck, some people like, what if you had only certain games to play forever? I could rotate on these things, I think, and be almost completely satisfied. Now, I love variety. Don't get me wrong. But these games are so special in the way that they play and in how much fun they allow me to have while playing them, and how much depth and how deep I can get into them and how many times I can replay them and not get bored. These games are where it's at. So thank you so much for watching my tier series. I really appreciate it. Feel free, if you haven't seen my other ones, go back and search my channel. I've got all the way, S through F as far as tiers, and I try my best to make sure you understand why I consider them one way or another. But I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Thanks for the comments. I'm interested to hear about any S games that aren't on my list that are maybe S ones for you. Maybe they're on my A tier. Maybe they're on my B tier. Who knows? Maybe I've never heard of them. Maybe I'm going to learn something and I'll find out something really cool. If that's the case, I'd love to hear about that too. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. And whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy.